know many people who don't have 2 screens now.
I know.
Yeah. For this, I kind of wish I had 3 so I could have Discord, my character sheet, and Tailspire, but...
Yeah, I just need one more screen, man. That's it. Just one more.
It's one more screen. I could potentially get my iPad if it's charged and put D&D up on there. D&D
and I will be looking into it. There is a way that we'll be able to do D&D Beyond rolling directly in Tailspire.
Oh, nice.
D&D Beyond.
That'll be very helpful.
That'll be better.
Yeah, because then you would be able to use both.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but like that way you don't have to try to figure out anything, and it's just click the button and it's good.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is one of the things I do love about Foundry. When you get it set up, it's very easy on there. But
all right, well, we are live. Woohoo!
Okay, well, welcome to our Curse of Strahd stream. We are going to be, this is our session 1, and we are going to be continuing every 2 weeks. As far as programs, I do have to say that for the music, we are using Sirenscape, which is a background music for tabletop role-playing, and then as far as maps, we are using Tailspire, available on Steam. So, without further ado, we are going to start. Is everyone in? It looks like they are. Oh, wait, no, we are missing Garion. We are missing,
I'm trying to launch it right now.
All good. We will pause. So, our players, have all started in their separate areas. They have each been suffering from visions, as multiple of our party cannot dream, for the past month or so. The most recent vision they had encountered placed them outside of a abandoned ruin in which there was undead underneath, as well as caskets. In the abandoned ruin, they were joined by 3 others that they did not recognize, but they did form a camaraderie and were able to defeat the undead and open the casket. At the time that the casket opened, black mist poured out, obscuring all of their views, and they each got a separate vision from then on, which led them to our starting location at the Nightmare Stable, called, in Daggerford. That being said, because they are all traveling from different locations, they are going to be arriving at separate times. However, 2 of the party members would meet on the road just because of their starting points were so close to one another, and that would be Graves and Conereth. You 2 would have met along the road outside of the Nightmare Stable, as one of you was from Gillen's Hill, and the other one was from... Where were you from? From Beaushot, which are 2 hamlets just south of Daggerford, that are quite close to one another. So they were practically neighbors, even though they probably wouldn't have heard of each other until that point. So, would you both be able to roll me a d20, Conereth and Graves?
I'll have to on D&D Beyond personally because my Steam is updating.
Okay.
Oh, it just finished, but it still has to launch Tailspire. But I can do it here. Just a straight D20, you said?
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, kicking it off with a 10.
Okay. So, Conereth, you would notice Graves first along the road. You're less than a mile outside of Daggerford when you come upon him.
And I do recognize him from this not dream.
From the vision.
Okay, that's my other question. Which one's Conareth? Conareth? That's your name, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
Conareth.
he was
Yeah.
the one that did not speak. He actually was
Yes.
only mentally communicating with everyone.
All right. Yeah, so I notice you first, and I would start making my way toward you, either if you're ahead of me picking up speed or whatever. If you would probably actually notice me before you would hear me talk to you, though.
Before what? Sorry.
You would probably notice me before you actually hear anything from me.
Okay.
Because, yeah, so like I wouldn't actually say anything to you until I'm about 10 feet away from you. So you'd probably notice me before
And you were
that,
like-
because I'm not being quiet.
Yeah.
So, Graves, you glance, you kind of hear someone walking nearby, and as you glance over, you see the Conareth, who is pale skin, much paler than your own, actually. And what color was your
I'm
hair
pale to
again?
begin with.
Where is the description portion of here? White hair, right? Like kind of silvery white hair. Very pale. You want me to take over?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of look over and you'd see, I'm guessing we recognize each. Oh, wait, I think we clarified that already. Yeah, so you look over and you see Conareth coming, and he's, from what you can see of his face, he has a hood up over his head, but he's extremely pale. There's some long silver hair kind of trailing out from the cloak, and he has a very, very deep purple cloak that kind of envelops his whole body, and he looks a little hunched over, kind of like, just kind of awkward or almost like he looks fatigued for no reason. And he kind of gives a sheepish little wave to you as you look over and notice him.
Yes, I'll probably look over, notice you. 1 second. My screen is funking up. I'm just gonna deal with the tail spire afterwards.
That's fine.
Because it is being funky. Anyway, so yeah, Graves would probably be walking along, notice you catch up then. Graves himself wears, he's also a pale individual, I guess not as pale. Blonde hair kind of pulled back, just like short stubble. He's just got these, he wears primarily robes that are black with like accents of silver. Carries of like jet black lantern in one hand and has the holy symbol of Pharasma as a clasp, keeping his cloak on. And one of the odd things about him as well is that he's got you notice that his nails are painted black and he wears black lipstick and a little bit of black mascara as well. But yeah, he would, I guess, then notice you and be like, "Oh, you were one of the ones in the place, the tomb thingy with the mist. Oh, what was your name again? You were the one that spoke in the head, right?"
Yeah, and to clarify, all conversations will be heard in your head from me. Yes, that was me. The name's Conareth. Nice to meet you again, I guess. Kind of coincidental on this path.
Even so.
You were...
Graves. Yes, Graves is my name.
Right.
Yes, are you... I suppose you might also be on your way to Daggerford, right? That's the name of the place?
Yes.
To Daggerford, then. Were you kind of told, quote unquote, so to speak, to go there as well?
Yes, actually, I received more visions after the event, and I'm pretty sure that I was meant to meet up with you and the other two companions that we had been with there in Daggerford.
I would assume, from what I imagine, are you the wanderer or traveler or the monastic? Does that ring any bells?
Which one would I be, Reno? Because I follow the Wanderer, but I am monastic. I don't know which one
More
I'm
so
supposed
it
to
would
fit.
be monastic.
Okay.
But if you think that you would apply to both, then
Oh no, it's just because that where Selyun is I think the Wanderer is one of her descriptions. So I just didn't know if it was tied into the god or the other thing. But I suppose monastic would probably apply to me. I haven't spent much time outside of the temple.
Did you receive a card as well then? And Grays will produce like a tarot card, essentially.
Yes, I did. And he just kind of fumbles around under his cloak and pulls out a card. And you see that my card is the Innocent.
Mine is the... I don't know how to pronounce it. Myrmidon? Is that how you say it?
yes.
Myrmidon?
Myrmidon. Yes, that is mine. Well, I suppose we won't be shocked if we run into the other two as we get closer.
Yes, these are quite curious events, to be certain.
That is true. Well, where are you coming from then, friend?
Gillian's Hill.
Me too. I believe I am vaguely familiar with it.
Yeah, it's not a very large place. It doesn't attract a lot of people, considering the drow attacks.
Yeah, same with the hamlet that I am coming from as well, Bowshot.
Yeah, it's modest enough. I haven't really been outside of the area, I don't believe, unless maybe sometime early in my childhood, so this in itself is quite an adventure for me.
I don't really recall ever leaving Bowshot, personally.
So I would assume you're not the Wanderer, then?
No, that is definitely not I. Judging by the fact that your card is different than the titles that I received, I suppose that our cards and our titles are different. So I don't know what my title would have been. But I have this card.
Would I know what his card means? Cole doesn't, but...
Roll me a...
Garion had to Google it.
Roll me an intelligence check. And you've done most of your time in like a monastery study, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so roll that at advantage for me.
I can't roll it in Tailspire. It says I'm waiting for you.
Oh, because I was
Same.
editing something in the right. Let me head back. Feel free.
Oh God. That's not a great roll. Intelligence, eh?
Yeah, and did you roll with advantage?
Oh, right.
Yes, advantage.
Okay, what was the button that... Okay, never mind. There we go. Do another one. Still not much better. I don't have a bonus, so it's just 8.
Just 8.
Okay. You aren't familiar with the term, nor are you really able to guess what it is, for it.
I got the weird card. Your card's just innocent. That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if this description is meant to apply to me. I don't really know what your card means, so we don't know if that applies to you. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself any more innocent than any other person.
I don't really know if the cards are really fully meant to apply to us or not, as I could see it making sense, but I'm not very familiar. I believe my card means it's in reference to some sort of... There is the name of ancient soldiers And I believe this really essentially means someone that follows orders from a commander. Something like that is kind of the general meaning now, from my understanding.
Have you ever
From Gary's
been
Google.
a soldier?
No?
Oh.
But, I mean, as I gathered from all the four of us, also respective gods, and I worship Phrasma, the Lady of the Graves, and many of us are more militant in destroying the undead.
Lady of the Graves is are all of her followers named Graves?
No, that is mere coincidence.
Huh. Well,
If it makes it even better, I used to be a gravedigger as well.
it seems your life is full of coincidence.
Oh,
In any case, I'm sure
see.
we'll find probably more information and be able to better discern what's going on here if we meet up with the others, which I'm assuming is what's going to happen.
I would imagine so.
Shall we proceed?
That is why. Look, I think that's the town up there in the distance, perhaps.
So, you guys are able to proceed through. Upon talking to the guards and telling them that you are from Bowshot and from Gillian's Hill, they don't give you any issues with traveling in, and so they very quickly let you pass. Again, but and you guys are able to find the Nightmare Stable without any issue. Now, from the outside, the Nightmare Stable looks pretty dire. It's cheerless and dark. There's bricks and carved pillars making most of the building's outer structure. It's kind of tough to see through the closed windows as they're kind of fogged up, but the atmosphere outside is ominous. And it almost like the atmosphere from inside pours out into it. That doesn't feel super welcoming. As you enter the tavern through the dirty wooden door, you're welcomed by a horrific scent and a few groans of the patrons. The bartender is talking to a customer currently and makes no effort to acknowledge your presence. Now, while it is pretty gloomy inside, just as it was outside. Stone beams are supporting the upper floor, and the large molten candles attached to them. The walls are loaded with pictures and flyers, and through the dust and though the dust and cobwebs kind of stop you from taking a closer look from this distance. While it is kind of gloomy inside, the tavern itself is bustling. That there is a large amount of people within there, and it is quite busy despite it, and it's bustling with people, and there are drinks all around.
Do we notice any of either of the other clerics there yet?
You do not.
All right. Well, Konareth will make his way to an empty table, preferably one that's near a wall or perhaps in a corner.
Okay.
Just kind of position himself there and get comfortable.
Sounds good.
Yeah, probably
Great.
ideally somewhere that we can be easily spotted, but like not like too obvious, and then we can also look around. Be my suggestion. Graves will just kind of follow and join, taking a seat as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
Alright,
maybe
then.
somewhere like in kind of like the back corner, and take a chair that's facing the door, so we can keep an eye on things.
Okay, and at this point, we will take a pause from the story of Graves and Konareth, and we are actually going to continue to the next person that would be coming into there, which would be Herbert. Herbert was traveling from Waterdeep, which is north of north of Daggerford, and is quite a it's quite a journey, but quite a journey further than the other ones would travel. Uh, but definitely a well worth it. So aside from just kind of traveling to the Nightmare Stable, would there be anything else that you'd be doing along the trip or when you first arrived into Daggerford, Herbert?
He's probably maybe just tinkering with some adjustments to his own armor, perhaps. Like he's just sort of trying to. He's got to have something to keep him busy, because just walking on his own would be too boring.
Hmm.
So he's probably just building stuff in his head and maybe just fidgeting with like all the little bits and bobs that he has like tacked onto his armor and his clothing and stuff like that.
That makes sense. Okay, so you get to the Nightmare Stable and you see kind of the same thing as the others had. This kind of gloomy atmosphere, not super welcoming, especially coming from Waterdeep, where being such a large city, they have a plethora of taverns and mead halls and what have you. That there's no shortage of places to be able to enjoy food and drink and festivities. Uh, do you would you like to do anything before you enter the Nightmare Stable?
Uh, this is, not that big of a deal for him because he's from Waterdeep. He's been to fancy inns before there, so I don't think he thinks too much of it. So he'll just walk right in.
Okay. When you arrive inside, you see that there is a um, large amount of patrons in there. Can you roll me a perception check as you walk in?
Um, should I roll it in Tailspire? Because I'm waiting on GM on my layer currently, so I can't do anything.
Yes. That's good to know that if I'm not in the same board as you guys,
Yep.
it will not allow you to roll. So,
Okay, it was
okay.
what type of check was this?
Perception.
Okay. That's a 6 total then.
Okay. So, as you kind of get in, you're kind of like inundated with the smell, um, and you are kind of distracted by that, and so you do not see um anyone that you recognize. You do see that the tavern keep is talking to a customer out there, but he hasn't made any indication that you walked in, let alone looking over towards you. He gave a quick glance, but then immediately went back to talking to the current customers he's dealing with.
Oh, well, nor me. I will. I'll try to get his attention. So I'll just walk right up to the bar and just sort of lean forward, just wait for his attention.
He doesn't appear to be making any um he doesn't appear to be making any attempts to end his conversation faster to get to you. He's just kind of you see that he's kind of he's a middle-aged man near the end of middle-aged. He has black hair, he's kind of balding, and he's just talking. Do you make, other than just standing there patiently, do you make any other attempts to get his attention?
I don't think I'm so much of like an asshole to like flash money. So I think I'll just wait for him to finish.
Okay. Now Konereth and Grace, you guys would see, as I'm assuming you guys would be kind of watching the doors.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the
Mic on.
intention there.
Yeah. As you guys are kind of watching the doors, you do see a blonde-haired man come in. And are you wearing your armor?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. You see that
Yeah.
he's wearing armor, and you can obviously tell that it's of pretty good make. But it's not like armor you've seen before. And in fact, it almost looks like it's a more formal clothing that has been made metal.
Yeah, so his frame is actually quite slight underneath the armor, but the armor and like the thickness of like the like all the plating around his chest sort of makes him look big and sort of strong. But you can kind of tell like when it gets to his neck, it's like he's actually quite skinny.
Kind of like a football uniform, right? Like the stuff
Yeah.
underneath the jersey makes you look really big.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a very finely wrought shield on my back, but you can tell that it's just like very decorative. It's obviously is a functional shield, but like all the fanciness of it, if you were to look closely, it'd be like highly polished, very easy to acquire metals, and like simple gemstones that are like fake gemstones, or essentially.
I imagine that Graves would probably just like do like a basic wave on over, and if he didn't immediately notice, kind of just look over to Conner and be like, could he hear you in his head if you spoke to him? Get his attention pretty easily without drawing attention to ourselves from anyone else.
Not at this distance, no.
Got it.
I have a very short range at which I can communicate with people. About 10 feet.
Well, I'll be right back then. Graves will probably stand on up and walk over to the bar to get Herbert.
Okay. Herbert, you see this pale-skinned man walking up to you with blonde hair. He has a strong jaw. And he you immediately recognize him as one of the 3 people you had seen in your dream.
I'm the one you thought was a time traveler.
I recognize you. Yes,
Yes.
you're the handsome one.
Oh, why, thank you, my friend. Yes, we've been expecting you and the others would arrive. Myself and Conner, that's his name, right? Yes, the one that talks in your head. We've got the table over there. We're expecting yourself and the other one.
The metal man.
like,
Yes,
the metal man.
Sparks?
We're expecting you to show up, so we've been
believe
waiting.
He introduced himself.
When he points over to the table and you look over, Conner's like looking at you from underneath his hood and just kind of gives a sheepish little wave.
Hello, Conner.
I'm picturing like the like shy anime girl that's got the crush.
Hello.
That's what I'm picturing.
I'm Herbert. I don't remember if we really got around to actually introducing ourselves, but
I don't. At least
nice
don't
to meet you.
remember the metal man's name, so maybe not. I'm Graves.
Graves. I'm just glad that this isn't just some elaborate hoax or hallucination.
Meeting multiple of you and actually meeting you instead of some weird appearing in a tomb in the middle of the night with zombies. That makes me feel a lot less insane.
Yeah, I had lots of theories. Like maybe it was like some sort of simulation or something like that, or some sort of otherworldly experience, like a trip to the astral plane or something like that. I couldn't really. Who could know?
Yes, I still have no idea what it was, but we all appeared to be getting visions, and yeah, I assume that Grace probably just leads you kind of over towards the table at this point where we take a seat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys have made your way to the table yet.
Yeah, I probably would have just like kind of walked him over there. Like, I presume the 2 of us both were given these tarot cards, I suppose. Imagine you have one as well, and I pull out mine.
And what was yours again? A Myrmidon?
Mine is the Myrmidon.
Oh, a warrior. I have
Apparently.
well, I guess I have this one here. It's I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. It's the charlatan.
Interesting. Well, I won't take it too much to heart to distrust you necessarily, as I'm also not sure how I feel about mine, as is our other friend here. But I imagine they have some sort of significance. Maybe, perhaps, the being that was giving, at least the one that appeared in my visions, I don't know if it's the same for you, seemed to have some knowledge of me that was very revealing. So perhaps there's truth to it, but perhaps they're the charlatan. Who knows?
I mean, who could tell, really?
Only time will tell.
You hear a voice in your head again, familiar as to the last time. Yeah, mine was the innocent, and he kind of fumbles around again under his cloak and pulls it out and shows you. I don't know if there's much to it. I don't see myself as any more or less innocent than other people, really. So
yeah, I have yet to really know either of you for more than 5-10 minutes, so I can't really speak to that.
So before we get too deep into the RP, we are going to touch on Onyx's tale, as he would be the last one to be arriving in the Nightmare Stable. So Onyx, where was it that you were traveling from?
Arabelle, I do believe.
Yes, that's what it was called, which is a very far distance away.
Yes.
And he would have been traveling for nearly a month, in order to arrive, in time to be able to come to here. So, you have been traveling, night and day, taking little rest, because of these visions that have been plaguing you. But at long last, you do come upon the edge of the edge of Daggerford. Long awaited, your journey is finally feeling complete, and you have a huge sense of accomplishment. The guards have seen your kind before, very rarely, but it's not uncommon for your kind to kind of be wanderers, and just kind of finding odd jobs where they go, so they don't give you too much trouble as you arrive.
Probably after I got this vision the first time, I probably would have started wearing a cloak up, to kind of hide my identity a little bit more, and just be slightly more cautious.
So that makes sense. And you ask them where the local tavern is. They and they're able to point you to the Nightmare Stable down the street, and they kind of describe it to you, the guards too. You are able to find it without any issue. And you also see kind of this gloomy atmosphere, filled with people inside, that despite that it does not give a welcoming presence. Would you like to do anything in the town or anything like that before you enter the Nightmare Stable?
No, I have been traveling for a long time. I just want to finally get to my destination and see what awaits.
That's understandable.
Maybe get some clues as to what this vision could have leading me.
That's understandable. So, without further ado,
Oh, do bad.
Oh,
you guys
man.
are in the Nightmares stable.
Yeah.
You three are
Wait.
talking around here. I will claim this table over here as your guys's.
Okay.
So, that is, as I said before, a large amount of people in here. It's not a huge tavern. And the barkeep behind there, again, talking to other customers, not really giving a heed to you guys, as you're there.
I would probably take a quick look around, especially since I don't usually come to these places to eat or drink. So it's a quick look around and then probably trying to spot a dark corner to go fit in to look for a clue, whatnot.
Okay. And can you roll me a perception check really quick?
Whee! Oh.
All the bad rolls so far.
After so long on the road and with, like, you've had interactions with people along the road, but never in this amount. You didn't really stop to go in taverns much along the way. You're kind of overstimulated by the amount of people and noise and sound and everything. Now, the other three, you guys would instantly see this robotic style man. How would you describe yourself, Onyx?
So I'm a very large humanoid. I stand, I do believe, 6'4". 6'2". I am currently wearing a cloak over me, but otherwise no clothing, so to speak. You see the metal plates that kind of make up my armor are kind of fused onto me, and you can see in between where the plates don't meet this almost root-like muscle sinew that stretches underneath all these plates. In my face, underneath the hood of my cloak right now, you can see my, of course, piercing blue crystals that light up and are scanning the room. And on my back is my shield over my backpack and my mace hanging from my side. But other than that, all the metal plates are black, hence the Onyx theme. And yeah.
Herbert has stars in his eyes.
I think the metal man has arrived.
I think so.
Oh. All right. That I shall do. Oh, whoa. What?
We are off to a great start in this very dangerous campaign, guys.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, it's a total of 4.
Okay. You don't have any insights right now.
You know, I asked them over at the Temple of God about him. I tried to describe him, but I mean, it was very much like the Nimblewrights that we have over there, but they don't really think for themselves, as far as I can tell. So, it's quite the oddity, if I do say so myself. They also don't talk.
They
Very-
don't think
very
for themselves. So
articulate.
is he some form of automaton?
Or are you saying he's different from
Wow.
them?
Oh yes, he's different. Yes, he's very.
Well,
clever.
I didn't really have much opportunity to learn anything about him. I'm from a very small hamlet, and my temple basically consists of me and my mentor living in a little shack next to the graveyard.
Well, I also grew up in a hamlet as well, but I moved to Waterdeep later in life.
Yeah. Oh, he's going over to the boss. Should we flag him down?
Yes,
We noticed him, but he didn't notice us, and we just started talking about him.
Oh, yes, that's in fact very quite rude of us. Yes.
I guess we're a gossipy bunch.
I'll wave, I guess. I don't have like a message cantrip or anything.
I cast Toll the Dead on him.
I'll get your attention. Toll the Dead.
I'm just seeing the dark corner over in the back here, so that's where I was started to head.
Yeah, I guess I think I would just run up and try to get your attention. Just run right up to you.
You would very easily notice him if he was running up to you.
Oh, hello. Hi.
You see me instantly go into a very defensive position before the realization of who you are dawns on me. And you see me slowly relaxed.
I'm so sorry. I did not mean to startle you, sir. The rest of our, I guess, companions, you would say, are at the stable over here. I believe it might behoove us to share information. I assume you also have a card?
I do. I wasn't quite sure if that vision was you three that I would be meeting, as instructions I got after were rather vague, but at least it's starting to connect some dots. Yes.
Well, decidedly very odd.
Yes. So, I quickly look around. I assume back here?
Yes, over here. No need to be shy. We're all friends here. I can't.
I look at the table.
Sit on the chair.
I look at the rest of them and nod my head. Good to see you again, I suppose?
Suppose? I don't really think it's bad, at least.
I don't? I mean, part of me is happy to see you, because that means I was not going insane. But
That was my thought as well.
But part of me is also concerned to see you, as that vision was not a cheery vision.
No. This is very odd. But to me, whatever was appearing, to me at least, after the vision seems to have information that I would very much like to learn myself. So that's positive for myself, at least.
Yes, and whichever, it was not the goddess I currently have pledged my fealty to.
Same.
But they seem to have known a lot about me, and judging by the fact that you also were helping me in that vision rid the evil, I believe I can trust you.
That seems a fair assumption you hear in your head.
I would agree.
So, before, I was a little concerned about the vision, but now, pleased to meet your acquaintance. My name is Onyx.
Well, Onyx, I'm Herbert. Herbert Lightforge. This is Graves over here, and Conereth is the quiet one.
Yes.
Now, looking at these, I would put I can put together that from the vision, look for the one in the dressed as nobility and whatnot. These are these three, right?
Correct.
So I can instantly see that
To my
they're what the vision was talking about.
Yes.
Well, it seems like Herbert here had mentioned that he got a card. Do you two as well got a card?
Yes, I have the Myrmidon.
And mine is the innocent.
Well, that bodes well. What the heck is a Myrmidon?
Some sort of something. It basically is sort of a soldier, someone who follows orders from a commander.
Oh,
I'm not really a soldier, but I mean, I follow the Lady of the Graves. Maybe?
so
That would
you're
make...
a grunt? A captain?
I'm... Something?
Okay.
I'm starting to appreciate the fact that mine was so straightforward.
I kind of envy you. To be fair, I don't know. I guess it makes sense. It's also just vague, and I don't really recall being an actual soldier. I said, I worship the Lady of the Graves, which I guess makes me someone that follows the commands of somebody. But also, from my understanding, we're all clergymen here.
Judging by the different symbols we all wear, I would come to agree with that conclusion.
Yeah. Different gods as well. I don't really have drastic knowledge on all of your deities. I have basic understanding, and I would say I have nothing against any of your gods, so that's good. And my cat is attacking my desk.
I
Hades,
have
stop.
very little knowledge of other deities. I'm actually fairly new to this whole thing. So forgive me if I'm quite unaware of certain things.
That is right. It's only recently that I really became clergy as well, but most of what my mentor was teaching me just seemed to make sense, and it's almost as if I already knew it. But I don't know. Sometimes I just seem to recall things that I don't really know how I recall them. But that's what it is.
So do any
None
of
of
you
us
know
have...
if
Sorry?
do any of you know if it's normal for a deity that none of us worship to contact those that are charged to other deities?
I don't know if it's necessarily a deity. Could be something else entirely. There's other things out there,
Say, in my vision, it did name itself. Did it name itself to any of you? Also, the Dungeon Master has disconnected from the call.
Yeah, he told us to take a bio break.
Oh.
Which I'm enjoying the RP, but I feel like he needs to know what we're talking about.
I did not even notice him say that or
I didn't
anything.
see it was
So,
in Messenger.
Yeah, he sent us a message.
I just saw that.
So
Restarting.
might be best that we stop so that he's apprised of what we're talking about.
That is a good idea.
Yep.
So I'm going to put the stream into right back.
Sounds good.
Nah, he's down. Right in front of me. Nice. Coming. Fuck, I'm down. That's last team. Good luck.
Yeah, I got it bounced
Yeah, you're
off. It bounced off
Fuck.
your shield and stuck me.
Shit, I'm sorry. Nope, fuck.
No, he's still in that building, isn't he? Got him. Yes.
Finally.
Nice.
That was
Nice
the last
job,
time I got ammo,
guys.
too.
I kept fucking breaking their shields with that fucking sniper. That's all I could do. I was sitting back. Oh my god. Turn on light. Alright. So, we're pretty sure it's here. I don't see fingerprints.
I'm getting cold temperatures, but not...
Oh! Oh my god.
What?
I have my stream going. Somebody just played the Scream fucking... Oh my fucking god.
Perfect time. Oh no. Turn the lights off. Okay, I'm pushing. Got him looting.
I'm trying. There's one more.
Yep. I can't do anything right now. I'm healing.
Got him!
Yes!
Chance! Fuck yeah!
Fucking A. Nice.
Woo! Nice one,
I can
dude.
come in and fuck y'all up.
Nice!
Nice.
Giving my shields a recharge. Rings nearby, and I got 30 seconds.
Let's go, let's go. Squad eliminated? What just happened? What just happened? Crushed? What? What the fuck just happened?
Let me know when we're ready to go.
We are back.
Very nice.
So,
All right. So you were
apologies for the technical disconnect, but
saying... It's okay. It happens. Welcome to technology.
Yep.
So you were saying that you know the name of the deity that spoke to us?
Yes. If I recall correctly, they told me actually to, I believe under certain circumstances, actually to speak their name and refer to themselves as Madam Eva, and told me to speak. She told me to speak her name in the Camp of Travelers, and that would begin our journey. I have no idea who that is or what the Camp of Travelers is, but that is what I was told.
That is very odd indeed. Herbert, you didn't say what your card was.
Mic
Sorry,
off.
who did you say?
Herbert.
Mic on.
Well, my card is a little bit of a mystery to myself. A little bit. It's the charlatan. So it's not what you think. You know, I'm not out to, fool you or anything. Just, I'm not exactly what I look like, I think. That's probably what it's about. I actually grew up quite poor. So the fact that I am now able to afford the luxuries that I do could be seen as some sort of falsehood, I suppose. But, if one can enjoy the finer things in life, why shouldn't they?
To get where you are today, did you have to be a charlatan?
I wouldn't really say so, no. I believe that my talents are genuine. But I do tend to sort of make myself up to be a little more than I am, maybe.
From my understanding, though, that's just merely part of business. If you tell them, oh, I'm just mediocre, who's going to buy your product?
Well, of course. But my products are quality, I'll have you know.
Can I do some form of assessment on the arbor that he's wearing to determine whether or not I think it has any quality?
Yeah, roll me a...
Mic off.
So I'm kind of curious as well if I could more so think if he genuinely believes that.
I don't know what you'd want me to roll.
That's all I'm trying to think of what to roll.
I don't know,
I would say-
investigation.
I would say either an investigation or a perception or an insight.
So would Grades be able to roll more so? I don't really care about the his armor as much. More so if he genuinely believes that his
Insight for
quality
Okay,
makes sense.
go with insight then.
That's one of my good skills.
A whopping 12 from me.
Mic on.
Yeah, the 4. That puts me at a 9.
Oh, by the way, Conerith, did you remember to switch to point buy?
Oh, Yeah, I did it while we were playing.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
I went back in and changed it.
Okay, that's fine. So, okay. So in insight, do you have a +5? Or investigation?
Yes, because I get a mixture of my wisdom modifier and I get it from somewhere else as well.
Same
Oh, right, because of
proficiency.
your. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I have
I was
proficiency
just
as well,
curious.
so
I
I'm
was like,
Yeah, it gives.
Okay.
I have a proficiency in insight, I think, because of my religion, because of the
Okay.
Twilight thing.
so Kunerith, you had a
Yeah.
12. What did you have, Graves?
only a 9 because I also rolled
9?
really crappily on here.
Okay.
Doesn't like
So,
us.
Graves, you believe that he believes that.
That's it.
That he
Yeah.
genuinely does believe in that his goods are quality.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
for Konereth, you believe that he is being genuine, but in addition, you can tell that his armor is a very good make. Now you don't know if he made his armor himself or not, but it does look like he is carrying things that are made of good quality.
Alrighty.
The city boy with his fancy armor.
He's like,
Oh,
if you look closely enough, you can kind of tell that the fabric is just like a thin sheet of fabric pulled over like some very specifically shaped armor to sort of just give it more of a chest-like, contour. But I mean, there's not that much fabric there, to be honest, and it does look a little weird, maybe because it's so thin and yet thick. It's a little tougher than your typical fabric, but it's still fabric. But I mean, everything's like, you've probably never seen a suit of armor exactly like his before, because he's customized everything on his armor essentially, just to sort of personalize to himself.
So it's like you said, it's good make, not necessarily the best material. It's what he would have had available, but it's good make.
Yeah. Like I'm not wearing like very fine, like there's no gems. It's like whatever glistens is some trick of the eye, really, to like just highly polished metal with like a super fine like grade or something like that. But it's not like, it's just regular iron and steel.
I think the barkeep is looking at us.
Yes. And you see that you guys have been here now for about a half hour or so. Barkeep is going to walk over and he's like, well, can I get you gents anything? We have ale. We have some day soup. Ale's 2 copper.
2 copper?
Yes.
Do you have any just like a steak and potatoes or anything as well? I'll take an ale as well.
Unfortunately,
As long as I actually have gold.
we just have the day soup. That's mostly what we serve around here. I believe it has some mutton in there and
That's probably
vegetables.
fine. That'll do for myself. Then I'll take that and an ale.
Okay, that'll be 3 copper. Anyone else?
Pass him 3 copper.
I'll just take some bread and water.
Bread? Okay.
He hears that in his head, I assume.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He would kind of look around suddenly and not really know who had said that to him, and you see that he is visibly
If he does, I'll kind of
shakes his
just point to Konak and kind of be like, "Oh, that's a friend there. He has a unique speech pattern."
Please, I ask you not do that to me. I will bring you your bread and water, but please, I ask that you not speak in my mind like that.
And like Konerith looks like visibly distressed and ashamed, and kind of like slumps down into his chair even more.
Oh, that's all right. I can talk for you if you need. Don't worry. He doesn't mean any harm, I say to the barkeep.
And he just kind of nods his head, but still looks shaken. And did you need anything?
Do you have wine?
I might have a bottle or two. I can't promise of its quality, but I think I could get you a bottle of it for about a copper.
Oh, very well. Yep, I'll take that.
And you? And he kind of gives a quizzical eye towards Onyx.
I chuckle a little bit. No, I'm quite all right. Thank you so much.
He nods his head and starts walking away without waiting for you to finish. And he looks slightly pale, but goes to behind the bar nonetheless. You hear him open up a cellar and go below as well.
Oh, it's almost like he didn't actually expect you to respond.
I
That was
get
a bit
that
rude of
lot.
him. I'm sorry. Seems we're all a little bit odd here at the table. I feel like I'm almost the most normal one here.
I'm so sorry I disturbed him.
No, don't
are you
be
saying
sorry.
that? Are you
Oh,
saying that
yeah.
I appear not very normal?
Have you never been told that before?
I mean, not
I
necessarily
apologize.
from someone. No, I understand. I've gotten
Well-
it before. I just wasn't sure I'd given really much reason for you. People from Bowshot found me quite odd for a few reasons.
Well, the first time I met you, you said you thought you were from the future or the past. So that was it for me. But it's not like you look
That is
strange.
fair. That is not quite what I meant, but I can see how it would come across like that, and I can see that making me odd.
Well, I meant no offense, obviously. Being odd
Oh
is
no,
a
not
good thing,
taken.
you know.
I was just curious as to why you thought that.
Well, you know, it's not a lot of people put so much effort into their appearance. You know, outside of the confines of noble society.
Ah. See, yes, that makes sense. Cat, get off my keyboard. That is fair. I'm not quite sure why I really do it, but you know,
Yeah, it works for you.
it kind of helps a little bit. Cat, can't move your bum.
Yeah,
What is-
the barkeep comes up from
Okay, we're good.
behind and he's holding a tray. And upon it he has he has a loaf of bread, like a hunk or two of cheese. And then he also
Mic
has
off.
a dusty bottle of wine that he's going to set on the table. And then he also sets down a bowl of soup with the copper in front of with the ale in front of Graves, and then a tankard of water in front of uh
Conera.
Conera. And he's going to just kind of say like,
Mic
my
on.
apologies for my reaction earlier. There's been a number of strange folk coming through here, and
Mic off.
some magic
Mic
users
on.
have been known to take advantage of folk, honest folk such as myself, and it startled me.
What do you mean by odd individuals? Other than I imagine you mean us as well, being four random clergymen of varying oddities. But you say there's been other interesting travelers.
Yes, you've heard the rumors, attacks of the drow, and down
Of course,
south
yes.
there's goblins and bandits and the like, and the Nightmare Stable gets its fair share of different people. We even have we do have quite a few of holy folk and pilgrims traveling through here as well. There is the Morning Glow tower here that draws quite a crowd of worshippers and the like. Um, there's also the traveling bands of uh, like the Vistani and things of that nature.
Would don't you expect odd people here? I mean, isn't your establishment called the Stable of Nightmares?
No, the Nightmare Stable. A mare for the horse, and yes, it does have multiple meanings, but it's a horse of the night.
Mhm.
Like a
I
night
think-
night, or like a
Taverns need
shiny-
interesting names to attract customers.
Yes, it is true. But most of the people have are kind of turning in for the night. Is there anything else I can provide? Are you needing lodging for the evening, or?
But I had one other question about the people as well. Then, yes, we might look at the logic. But is there one other thing that perhaps you've heard of that we're looking for? Something by the name of the Camp of Travelers, I think it is.
I've
Let
not
me.
heard that term before. But if it's camp, it probably wouldn't be within town.
I have another question for you, actually. Sorry to butt
Yes.
in, but have you seen a man who travels through wearing very colorful clothes? Anything like that?
Yes.
Well, now that you mention it, and he's going to kind of point over his shoulder along this wall here, and you see that some of those flyers are there. He's like, there is a flyer there. The Vistani had dropped it in. They often trade with people along, but they don't like the bustling streets, so they'll often advertise. On this flyer, you see a drawn figure, and it is a man dancing. He has white hair, and his cloak appears to be patches of many different colors, kind of woven together, and it kind of clashes against the eyes as you see it.
That was probably be our man.
That's pretty accurate, I suppose.
No,
I-
that's if you're wanting to find them, they're in the Vistani camp, the east of the city.
That's right.
You can't really miss it. It's right off the road. They're
Well, thank
they're
you.
awake quite late, so you should be able to find them even before the evening. If you do need lodging, I don't have rooms here, but there is a boarding house up the street. We work together quite often. It's called the Knights Inn.
Makes sense. Nightmare stable, Nights in. Very.
Yes, it's
Yes.
mutually for both of us. It makes it easier for people to find us.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for all the information you provided us. Anybody else have anything to ask?
Yes, I will be cleaning up around here if you have any more questions, but please
Excellent.
eat your food and enjoy your stay.
Why, thank you. Newfound friends, do you think that we should lodge for the night, or would you prefer to just go meet these Vistani, as that seems to make sense from both the colored robes, which I believe is also mentioned in my visions, as well as the camp of travelers? Makes sense. Should we meet them tonight, or should we lodge for the night?
I'm not going to lie. My curiosity is piqued. I would be interested in visiting, but if you think it would be better to wait, perhaps it would be prudent.
Well, if they're awake a while later, I have no need to go to bed anytime soon.
I myself am also quite curious what is going on here. I frankly don't know if I could sleep with the curiosity.
I feel much the same, to be honest. Sometimes my mind just goes, and you just can't stop it.
I agree as well. I was more just wondering if anyone was too tired from the journeys to get here, but If we're all ready, rearing to go, then might as well head out as soon as we're done our food.
I probably couldn't do too many more hours, but I'm fine.
I'm traveled long today, so I can't go on a full adventure, but in my life I have learned that when you know where your target is, best go there quickly, lest they be gone the following day.
That is true. These, from what he said, I gather, are traveling folk. And I'll try and eat my soup quickly here, then. Allow me to stop talking so I can actually put food in my mouth for a moment. And Graves will start chowing down on his soup.
It's nothing spectacular. It's but it's food.
That's all I need. I'm from a tiny little hamlet and such. I'm not a fancy city boy.
The ale is quite good. The food is mediocre.
Yeah.
And Conerith, your water is there as well.
But is it as good a water as you would get from a lily pad sun hat?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Canary just kind of picks away at his loaf of bread and water.
Should we bring a gift or something? Is that a tradition, perhaps? I mean, you're going
I
to meet
have
someone.
no idea.
What do we know about these people? They're travelers. They wear bright-colored clothing. They're called Vistani.
Does anyone have
any
anything?
memories?
Not
You
a
guys
lot.
can all roll me we'll do like a local history check. Now, Onyx, we'll have you just do your intelligence modifier. If any, and then the other three, because you guys live in the local area, you'll do your intelligence modifier plus proficiency.
Yeah.
Oh. Not meant to be. 7 for me.
Yeah, another or that's also 7 for me. Tailspire does not like us.
Not tonight.
I think the highest roll it's given us is a 10.
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
someone got a 20 earlier.
Okay. Oh, there's a 13.
Not in the
Yep.
chat.
Oh, yeah.
The chat erases when we switch boards.
Well, Graves rolled a 10.
What was the modifier again?
Intelligence plus proficiency
beginning, yeah.
for you.
And yeah, the beginning.
But that was also on D&D Beyond, not Tailspire.
So 15 for me.
Okay. So, who was below 15? Would that be Onyx?
Yeah, with it.
Okay.
then
So
2
Onyx,
seconds.
you would have heard of the Vistani as kind of just traveling people. They would have even traveled as far as, Arabelle. That they would have traveled as far as down there. You would know that they, some people don't trust them. They think that they're kind of thieves and, brigands. Now, Conerith, you would know a lot more about them because they're fairly common in this area. You know that they are travelers. They mostly, they kind of trade more so in stories, and they're more like bards, than anything. Bards and minstrels that they tell stories. They kind of live off the land and by doing simple trades work, and kind of just find work where they are, but they don't really have a home. They just kind of live in their tents and in their wagons.
Okay.
You do know also that they would not require a gift for people to be coming. They often have people coming to them just to repair things or just to tell stories or to meet with them.
I don't believe they'd require anything of us,
Oh, that's
from
good.
my understanding of them.
No,
Oh.
no time like the present.
That is lucky for us then. I finished my drink and my soup, so I'm ready to go.
And for Onyx, you would have gotten a short rest throughout this, so you're feeling much better about your strength level.
Okay.
So feeling less exhausted, and the good company has been a nice breath of fresh air for you,
Yes.
regardless of not having to breathe. So, the tavern keep is kind of cleaning up, and he's going to wave you as you leave, and he's like, "Travel safe."
I
Thank
use
you.
prestidigitation to clean our table as we leave.
Thank you. And he just kind of waves, and he throws a towel over his shoulder, and he's continuing to uh, clean up as you guys go.
Yeah.
As
Blessed
we're-
night to you, friend.
I heard two people talking. Sorry.
You can go. I was just telling him to have a blessed night.
And
And-
he kind of bows his head.
As we're heading out, I'm just like, maybe think about changing the name. You might get less creepy people. And I just walk out.
With that being said, you guys are able to, as you guys are traveling, this will be the board I'm using in between. Oh, it didn't save your guys' tokens. That's weird.
I saw them disappear one by one before you moved us to the other one.
Yep.
This will kind of be the map that we're using for in between or during
Theater of the mind.
Theater of the
and stuff.
Mind. Yes.
Yeah.
Come on
So
over to
you
the
guys,
fire.
you guys leave the Nightmare Stable, seeing that there's not many people on the streets at this time. The sun has long since kind of disappeared from the sky, and you do see that the moon is rising in the distance. Now the Nightmare Stable is kind of near the center of the town, so traveling west is fairly easy to do directly from there. And there's kind of three entrances to the city: north, south, and east. Or east, sorry.
At least there's no
Let's head east.
Okay.
Hopefully, it's not too far from the city.
Yes, and
which
as
way
you
is
guys
east again?
exit east, the guards kind of nod at you, and they're like, "Late night."
Seems so.
Not yet. It's still fairly early.
Speak for yourself. No, you don't take too long now. We close the gates around midnight.
All right, we will likely be staying out of the city tonight. We're heading to meet with the Vistani. But if we do intend to come back, we'll make sure to keep that in mind. Thank you, friend.
Keep your purse close.
Well, it's not too much on me anyway.
He nods, and he's the other guards kind of just leaning against the wall. And as you guys walk away, you see them kind of sit down again, and they're going to continue their dice game that they hastily stowed as you guys came forward.
I don't get it. How would you keep your purse so far?
I believe it's a figure of speech to be watchful.
But actually, it's quite common for nobles to keep their gold far away from their person because you as a person who is cushioned by society, would be very susceptible to being robbed by brigands and thieves. So they hire these people and they stow their money away in these vast vaults.
Oh.
I think banks.
I suppose that would be smart then. As we're leaving as well, since we're not in the city anymore, Graves will light his black lantern with the little black candle with the symbol of Pharasma on it, and as he does, as the others saw in our tomb vision or whatever, the flame on the candle burns like yellow and blue, like this holy symbol of Pharasma.
That's cool.
Yeah, I just pulled out a torch.
Yes.
Grave
how-
seems to have his lantern on him at all times.
As you guys are going,
Is it like a well-made lantern? Actually, can I just?
yeah, you can
Yeah.
I like to look at
roll
how things
me
are built.
We're going to have like we'll have to make like a homebrew like value, or what is the one in Pathfinder called? Garion.
What is it called?
The skill appraise.
Appraisal, yeah. I think that'd be
Yeah.
a good one to have, especially
Yeah,
for
it's just
Herbert's
an
character.
intelligence skill. Almost no one puts ranks in it, but you can roll it.
Can I do
and
investigation or?
yeah, and we'll just kind of have other than Herbert, does anyone have any skill or history in being able to do um uh
Appraisal?
yeah, like crafting or anything of that nature?
Nope. I dug graves. Hey, good roll.
Wow.
I wouldn't say so for crafting. Could make an argument, depending on what I was doing for the temple, that I might have been organizing items and become familiar with their value, but that'd be the best I could give you.
Okay. What we'll probably do is everyone can do an intelligence check, and then kind of depending on what they are appraising, based on their background, I'll allow proficiency or not.
That makes sense.
So
Kind of like
we'll
how I was doing local for the other group.
yeah, kind of like just to kind of like have that there are some things that you are better at appraising than others. Just because you're good at knowing the value of arms and armor doesn't mean you're good at knowing the value of books.
Exactly.
So we'll kind of do it off of that. So
So that's a total of 22.
22.
So it is just a reflavored gothic trinket, so it's however valuable and fancy you would like to make it. Technically, it's unique because the flame never burns out or whatever, and it just continually burns in this magical color. But I don't know about the Make It the Lantern itself.
You can tell that this is an old lantern, but it continues to hold its strength, and it has been enchanted in some way. You're not entirely sure if it's just by being like a talisman for like his god or what, but you can tell that it is of sturdy make, and it holds
Divine
its value.
craftsmanship.
It holds its value not because it's made of good materials, but because it is made of like to be durable. Kind of like how cast iron is not necessarily valuable because of its the cost of materials, but more so because of its durability and usefulness.
That's an excellent piece of work you have there. You ever need any mending or repairs or anything, let me know.
Of course. Why, thank you very much. If it's debit, I definitely will take you up on that, because it was given to me by my mentor, Torin, shortly before I left, so definitely very special.
Well, I suppose that's what you'll want to be keeping close then, huh?
Yes, most certainly.
Well, I don't really... Well, I would say that most of the things that I carry are pretty important to me, but to be honest, I could just make another one, so...
That's fair. Yeah, for me, it'd probably be this lantern and then just my holy symbol I have here. But even the holy symbol itself is more so just because it's my holy symbol rather than it's any particularly valuable item. Cat, stop attacking my codes. This cat.
It's like he's talking. I gotta attack him and get his attention.
Yep. Goodbye.
But is anyone else carrying anything interesting on them? Because I think that's what kind of Herbert is just doing a scan for, sort of.
As far as like
interesting
unique
objects.
items, you mean?
Yeah, just objects.
Obviously everyone has shields, and I believe all of them have the different holy symbols. Is that correct?
My shield's plain. My holy symbol is an amulet around my neck.
Okay.
Yeah, same. My shield's just like a regular old shield.
Okay. So you would see definitely the fields around. Onyx, you carry a warhammer, correct?
I carry a warhammer. Yes. Sorry, I thought it was a
Would
mace,
this,
but it's a warhammer.
if you'd like
I
it
have
to
a
be a mace,
mace.
that's okay. I remember seeing your character sheet was a
Yeah.
warhammer. I believe
No,
that.
Yeah.
I would keep the warhammer.
Okay.
I just
I have a
auto went
mace.
with mace because that's usually what clerics have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're as a warforged, you're proficient in
Yes.
warhammer, so
Yeah,
and
I just have the
warhammers are
mace because
awesome.
I am not proficient, but I also am terrible with mace, hence why I carry a dagger.
So, would this have been
Mic
something
off.
that you would have gotten when you were at the monastery, or something that you would have gotten before
Mic
the
on.
monastery when you were for your previous
Before.
employer? Okay. And I'm assuming he would have given you something of decent make.
Oh yes.
Okay, so you would know that his hammer is of good make, even if it's not ostentatious in any way. That it is he carries a warhammer that would have cost a decent amount to make. That it is of good craftsmanship as well.
Excellent. Oh, there's probably a few modifications I can make with this with the appropriate materials. Well, I'm sorry, I don't mean to intrude. Is this a sentimental value to you?
It has served me well.
Well, I hope it continues to serve you well.
If I, sorry,
Sorry. Oh, no, go ahead.
I was like, if I recall, my religion check in session 0 was enough to tell at least the basics about everybody else's gods. So I assume that I would know that your god is Gord, something like that.
Gond.
Gond. So I assume then I would know that he's like an inventor type god, from my understanding.
Yeah, definitely like a god that focuses around creation and crafting. In all of its forms.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been like, you are of clergy of Gond, then, correct, my friend? That's the symbol that you hold there?
Yes, this four-spoked, toothed cog.
Yes, and I say Gond is very much crafting is important to much of you, then, I assume, correct? That's about all I really know.
Well, that's that's really most of it, to be honest. He values inventiveness and resourcefulness, and building things with your own two hands. It was a natural fit for me.
That would then make sense to your inquiries into our equipment and such, and I think that's a valuable aspiration. Very useful.
Yes, I've actually been blessed by Gond. It seems our meeting was fortuitous. I traveled to Waterdeep, and I heard that you could secure funding for all sorts of projects at the Temple of Gond there, I can now bless things with unnatural fortitude and incredible sort of power and striking force. Like I hold up this ball peen hammer that I have, and it sort of gleams a bit. And he's this is the weapon that he used against those those undead. And he goes, "Yeah, just turn this normal hammer into something to rival the knights of old."
That's
And
impressive.
in the event that you would like to use that as your primary weapon, I will allow you to use the stats of a mace for it.
I was gonna say, yeah, I just kind of reflavored a mace, and
That's fine.
I was like,
I
it's
like
a
it.
hammer.
Yeah.
Very nice.
He also actually notably has a sledgehammer on his back.
Ooh.
That is
nice.
a reflavored Great Club.
Okay.
Did you get my message, Reno?
I just checked Discord. I didn't see one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Cool.
But if you want me to do any custom work on those shields or armor or anything like that, I could add like a little something, just to make it more you.
Yes.
But if there's anything you need or anything, like I could certainly cobble up a solution. So that's my skill set.
Very useful.
Sorry, you were saying something?
No, I was just curious as we are, for the time being, traveling together. I was just curious to know some more about all of your skills and the gods you follow. As I really merely just know the names of them. And also Gary and forgot.
You do see light in the distance, but it's probably at least a mile out, so we'll take you guys a little bit to walk there, so you have plenty of time to talk.
Well, the Lady of Graves is a bit morose, but not necessarily evil, obviously.
No, certainly not evil. There's sometimes a misunderstood goddess, the Lady of the Graves, Pharasma's, her primary domain is that of the cycle of life and death. And that she's the one to judge our souls when we pass to the beyond and help us determine where we will end up in the end. But also, many of our followers, morticians or midwives even, are fairly common as well among her clergy to help with the birth of the newborns. The other two primary things that often comes up from her under clergy are the extermination of the abomination that is the undead, as was what we did last time we met. Undead, certainly an abomination to the cycle of life and death, and never a good thing. Then besides that, not as prominent a part of her worship anymore, but she's also a goddess of prophecy, but that has kind of fallen out of trend, popularity, whatever you want to call it. Not as prominent as it once was. But certainly I can understand why some people would not be as big a fans, as it's a little more. She's not a happy-go-lucky god. But then again, this world isn't always happy-go-lucky.
That's true. Perhaps, this word can be cruel to some. Certainly.
Yes. Now, what about you, our metallic friend?
Onyx.
What? Tell us about your god.
Oh, my goddess, like me, sometimes can use anger for good.
Righteous indignation. I also forget what your god's name is.
Kari.
Nice. And it was like the air goddess,
Yes.
basically?
Yeah.
Nice.
Hence the Tempest cleric.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He understands the wants and needs to be free, and when caged or whatnot, understands that or directs that sometimes the ends justify the means.
Interesting.
And Graves, you were the one who got the Myrmidon.
Yes.
Seems like our friend Onyx here is quite the soldier.
Suited
What
him
was
as
your
well.
card again?
I hadn't said.
I thought so.
That would be why I don't recall.
My card
what-
is the Avenger.
That also makes
Ah.
sense.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. That makes probably more sense.
Hmm.
The Avenger.
I
I like it. I like it.
wasn't a soldier per se before going down this path, but I saw my fair share of death.
But
I'm sorry
something
to
tells
hear
me
that.
we might encounter more death as we go along. I just have this feeling. Maybe Phrasma's prophecy isn't quite so out of trend as I was thinking.
As long as this death doesn't involve innocent,
Yes.
I will be better.
Yes. No needless death. Everyone, of course, comes to die eventually. But ideally, they're not being slaughtered or murdered. But regardless, everyone's time does eventually come.
Well, speaking of innocence, Konareth, what is your deity like?
I will answer
Oh.
on his behalf as
Did he leave to get his wife?
Yes, which is one of the reasons I've
Yes,
like
he went to
the
go
RP.
get his wife.
That's
Yeah,
what
the
I
RP
thought.
was going. No, that's
As
fine.
soon as
And
I said
Yeah.
it,
yeah,
I was like, oh,
he's been
he's
close
gone.
to about 8 to 10 minutes, so he should be back very soon.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll kind of answer it from his perspective as far as I know.
Nice.
His goddess is Saloon. And she is the goddess of the Moon Maiden or the Night White Lady. She is as you know, his symbol is a pair of eyes surrounded by 7 stars. And focuses upon much of the nighttime, but also she can change her moods and natures just like the cycles of the moon can change. She's viewed in countless different ways, and often she can be enthusiastic or joyous, majestic. At other times, she's more subdued and motherly and tranquil. But nevertheless, she is caring and accepting of most beings, and also forgiving of most of her followers' faults.
And it was like 2
forgiving
eyes, you
goddess.
said, for the symbol?
2 eyes surrounded by 7 stars.
Yeah. And then Gon's was like a cog and a hammer, you said?
Mm-hmm.
And what was Akadi's? I don't think we said that one, but it's on this shield.
It's just loud.
Nice. And then Phrasma is like a spiral. Cool.
Yeah.
Now I know everybody's gods, which is useful because we're all clerics.
Yep.
Yes.
Hello,
But
Hades.
she's often worshipped by a lot of different people. Sailors and navigators worship her as they use the stars to guide themselves but often people who labor at night, and some good werewolves will,
Uh,
but also some of not so good will honor the Moon Maiden, as they view her as uh, the draw of their power. And
I'd
then,
say Conair's a werewolf. Spoilers.
Yep.
and similar to uh, your goddess Graves, they will also fortune tellers and astrologers also will acknowledge her as a ruler of fate.
Nice.
For Gond, does he value craft by hand or magic?
Um, it's really more about the inventiveness than the means, I believe. You know, if you need to use magic to achieve your means, then perhaps the goal is worth achieving. If it's lofty enough. You know, if you simplify too many things in your life, you'll start to not really appreciate the motions, really. Like say if I were to use a spell to drive every nail, it would sort of deaden the feeling. But if say I needed to build something of large proportions quickly, I would try to expedite the process by taking certain shortcuts, obviously, when necessary.
I think that's a fair assessment. At the same time, I would perhaps not fully disagree, but say that there's nothing wrong with simple either.
No, yes, of course. You know, do love the good, the feel of the wood sort of giving way under your tools. You know, this sort of gentle glide of the sharp thing against the wood. You know, it's quite satisfying, in my opinion.
Cool. I can't say I personally relate, but I can understand the sentiment one would have as a craftsman. Then it makes sense, to me at least. Not that I necessarily have the same.
There's moments where you sort of enter almost like a meditative or trance-like state. And it's honestly, it's those moments that I really crave. You sort of get so
That I can
involved with your work.
understand a lot more.
Yes. It's almost like you're pulling things out of thin air and everything's just working for you. It's quite an incredible feeling, to be honest. It can be quite intoxicating.
I almost envy you in that sense, that it will just a meditation that can just bring that which you desire. Just I want to meditate quite often, but my meditations seem to rarely be truly fruitful and leave me more questions than answers.
I see. Well, I'll be honest. I usually never end a project with fewer questions than I had answers in the first place. You know, reaching farther and farther into inventiveness and crafting and such often just begets more problems, more complicated ones in the end. But it has its pros and cons, obviously.
I can see how that makes sense, and I think I can relate to that in different endeavors. But I think I understand the sentiment and the process overall of what you are saying in relation to different tasks myself.
As you guys are walking, you do see that the camp has now a few hundred yards away, and you can start to make out the shapes. There appears that there's a few wagons, and as well as flames. Is there anything you guys wanted to say before you make way to the camp?
Bravo 6 going dark. Snuff all the
gonna
lights.
say,
Sneak up on them. No.
I probably would hang back and snuff my light, and start stealthing up.
Okay.
If they have their own fire, I guess I don't need my lantern lit. So probably as we get to the camp itself, put out my torch and go by their lights. But
Okay.
Grace kind of just walks in kind of casually, I guess. Not like I own the place or anything, but also not super guarded or anything. Just like you're walking somewhere.
Okay. Makes sense. Corner, anything?
He wouldn't really act any differently. He'd just be making his way in. If other people were pulling back, then he would probably pull back. Otherwise, he'd just keep going.
He's just making his way downtown.
Walking.
Take him away.
People pass.
Okay. As you guys approach, as the evening's growing dark, you see a dozen men and women gathered around a crackling bonfire. The folk are in good spirits. A few of them sing and dance around the fire, while others find happiness in their flask of wineskins. 3 barrel-topped wagons are parked at odd angles. Tied to a nearby tree grazing are half-dozen draft horses, wearing bright coats with bangles and tassels. No one takes any heed of you as you approach. As you guys approach from the darkness, you guys are very easily able to go off the road towards this camp.
Well, I guess we're here. Should we find someone to talk to?
Has anybody spotted us?
I guess if we're still...
It doesn't appear that anyone has paid you any heed. They are singing and dancing and playing music. They are not really... you can tell why they were so far away from the city. If they were making this much noise this late close to the city, they would be the residents would be quite annoyed with them.
Oh. Should we find someone to talk to then? And how open do we wish to be about these visions? I know in mine the Madam Eva told me to speak her name, and what I assume is here.
Yes, I believe I remember something like that. Or no? Oh, that's what you said. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, no, I was like, wait, yeah, was that my vision? No, it was not.
Guys, where did Onyx go?
Oh, wait, what? Where did he go?
Looks around, Onyx is gone.
Oh, I found him.
No, I'm hiding in the shadows.
Yeah.
He just he just stealthed and didn't say anything.
He seemed like the type to not want to interact directly. Maybe he's hiding. Onyx, are you here? Are you here, friend?
Do we see him anywhere?
He's right next to you guys. I think it's just.
17 for myself.
And are you wearing heavy armor? Are you at disadvantage?
I am not wearing heavy armor. I am wearing regular leather armor.
Okay, so you do not have disadvantage. Okay. So you rolled a 17, you
I
said?
rolled a 17. Yeah, the 13.
Okay.
I was trying to delete my other roll, and I kept rolling it by accident. So a 13
So with that,
plus my 4.
you are able to, you guys with how close he is to you, it takes you a little bit to see him, but he is off in the distance, like about probably 10-15 feet away, and the darkness is kind of obscuring him. But you do see him eventually with how close he is to you.
There he is. I suspect that he wants to remain hidden for the time being.
Right. Don't draw attention to him.
Yes.
And Konareth, like, visibly, like, is trying to stare straight ahead and not look at him.
All right. Well, into the camp we go then.
As you guys
Oh look, it's me.
Yes, I did color his base, so you're able to tell them apart more easily. His is the red one.
Nice. My token's also not what I look like at all, but you know.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't think most of us look much like our tokens.
Yeah, were you able to get my token to work there?
I was. You will have to, you'll be able to do it on your end if you want. Just with the modded, I wasn't going to force like everyone to have to go through all the process
Gotcha.
because they'll be implementing it fully.
Okay.
Very soon.
Okay.
But I can send you the files and show you how to do it if you'd like it on your end if it's not set up for next session.
Okay.
So, as you guys approach, you do see a young man. He looks like he's in his he's wearing very bright clothing, kind of a basic white tunic with a brightly colored vest, and he has a tankard of ale in one hand, and he's going to look over and he's going to be like, "Oh, welcome, my friends. Come, warm yourself by the fire. We are enjoying an evening under the wolf's sun."
All right.
Oh, don't be shy. My name is Ratka. What brings you fine travelers here this evening?
Rafka, you said what's your name?
Ratka, yes.
Ratka.
This here is Grigori. And he points to the man next to him, who is playing a lute, and he kind of nods, and he's playing along with other people in the area.
Well, pleased to meet you. I'm Graves. My companions here are Herbert and Konareth.
Oh, yeah, that's strange. What brings you out so late? Many of the townsfolk don't like to join us, but
We are not from the town ourselves, but you are the Vestani group, correct?
Yes. Please, if you have been traveling, you may be weary. We have some seats if you'd like to sit. Is this your whole party?
Yes, I believe so. But would you say, friends, a seat would be nice? I believe we've all been traveling through the day.
Yes, let's sit our Trukuses down.
Okay. And he'll kind of guide you guys over to here, where there are some, like stumps that they almost use as seating, and these, and he's going to, and he's like, Graves was the one that was mostly talking to him about some wine.
Oh, if you're offering, I would not refuse.
Okay. And he's going to take a wine. He's going to go over and grab a wineskin, with a tankard or two. And he's going to be pouring it in there. And he's like, "And for you, the one with the pale one. What is your name?" Now he's looking towards Konareth.
Cole is muted.
Oh, whoops. Conerith kind of looks over to Herbert nervously, and you hear like, I don't know if I want to make people uncomfortable again.
I suspect. I see you weren't talking to me, so.
Is it all right if he sort of talks in your head?
You are one that does not speak with the tongue. You speak with, and he kind of points at his head and taps it, and he.
Conerith nods.
Yes, I've met kinds like you. Please, whatever makes you more comfortable.
I'm sorry if this makes you uncomfortable. My name's Conerith.
Conerith, would you like some wine, Conerith?
Perhaps just water would be nice.
Water. We have some water. And for you, roll me another stealth check there, Onyx.
Okay. I am not trying to be on the tent. I'm trying to be behind the tent.
Yeah, I just snapped a grid, so.
Hello, buddy.
As you are kind of walking around, you hit the wagon as you're walking past it.
I fall in the hole.
And you kind of trip, and he's like, oh, please don't hide in the shadows, my friend. Please come into the light. Is this another one of your companions?
Oh yes, I forgot about him. Well,
we only all met today. So.
Yes, it's a little bit complicated, I suppose. So we didn't really want to speak out of turn.
I understand. We Vistani are not always trusted by people. We know that sometimes people are nervous about coming in, but we like to be welcoming. Being Vistani is about, loving life and enjoying it to the fullest. Oh, here, this is my sister, Namia, and there's a young woman that kind of comes over, and she has water, like a wineskin, and she pours it in, and he's like, "Here's your water, my friend." Now you, the metal man, I've not seen your kind before. What is your story? Nothing too much. We'll wait until the night starts to mull over before we get into the deep stories, but my curiosity is piqued.
My story is rather bland. Lots of traveling as of late, and meeting some fine clergymen that have become good company.
Yes, I did notice all four of you seem to be a cluster of clerics. But
Yes.
We're just arguing over which deity is better.
Yeah, some theological debates. Actually, I don't think we really have had many debates yet, because we've only maybe known each other for an hour or two.
Well, with time.
That will come in time.
Yes.
That being said, I believe my god is the most superior, of course.
Is this the guy that's like super colorful?
He is wearing like a colorful vest, but you wouldn't say many colors. It's kind of a deep red of his vest.
Yeah.
No, please, I didn't ask your name, in the fine clothing over there.
Oh, yes, I'm Herbert. Herbert Lightforge.
Good name. And would you like any, wine?
Sure, yes. I've still got half a bottle here myself, so.
Griggs is just swirling his wine and drinking.
He's going to pour it, and you guys, as you're drinking it, It is spicy and it's sweet. That it's almost like it hasn't been fermented for super long. It almost has like a burning sensation similar to that of like a whiskey.
Ooh, this is quite good.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it comes
It's rather
from
to my taste.
It comes from grapes. As we travel, you can see the barrels on the wagons. We like to make wine and we sell it to make our way and kind of as we travel along, we make different batches. No,
A fair trade.
do any of you dance? I'm sure that we enjoy dancing with travelers as they come through.
I can't say that I'm specifically opposed, but I can't really say I have really danced either.
Yeah, the women are good at leading here if you'd like.
I read a booklet on like some of the fancy dances that they do.
You can't
balls,
learn dancing
so-
through a book. It has to be experienced.
Well, I've never been invited to a ball before, to be honest, so I haven't had a chance to practice.
It's like riding a horse. Sometimes you just have to hop on and see what happens. Yeah, and he kind of snaps his fingers, and two of the women kind of break off of there, and he's like, yeah, and he kind of points to Herbert. He's like, he's amateur. Teach him. Go. And the girl grabs your hand and kind of drags you around the fire. She's kind of grabs you by both your hands, and you can see like everyone around you is dancing that even in Waterdeep, you never really saw people with like this amount of enjoyment just from life. They are having exceptional fun as they are going along. Their music is playing loudly as you are. As they are into around. The other woman standing there, he's like, and then this one, what was your name, sir? And he's looking towards Graves.
Graves.
Oh, Graves, yes, okay, come on. And the
All right, sure. We'll give it a whirl.
put the wine down. Right there, you can drink it later. And the other woman, the one that you had met earlier, the one that you had met earlier, Damia, she in hair, and the dancing that they're doing isn't really like close set dancing. It's like they're almost holding hands, and it's a very lively dance as you're going along. And he's like, and you, Conareth,
like before it gets to Conareth, like he sees that they're one by one being pulled out, like pulled into dancing, and he's just slowly like backing himself up on his butt, like scooting backwards until he's like almost under the wagon, like visibly distraught.
Oh,
Just
don't worry.
sipping his water.
If you don't want to dance, I'm not going to make you. You, metal man. What was your name?
My name is Onyx.
Onyx. Are you interested in dancing?
No, I'm quite alright watching from a distance.
Okay, do you need drink? You weren't here while I was asking the rest.
No, I am all set, thank you very much.
Well, please take a seat if you want, and enjoy watching our friends,
Yes.
either enjoying themselves or making a fool of themselves, or both. Who knows?
As your analogy points out, that you learn to ride a horse by jumping on it. But not only do you learn to ride a horse, sometimes you end up with broken bones. So I'm quite interested to see what will happen.
Tis true. With that being said,
Do you want performance
Graves.
rolls?
yes, Graves and Herbert, can you both roll me performance rolls?
I am not proficient, but I do have a good charisma. But it's going to give me another like 4, isn't it?
Well, I have a -1 to this.
Tails,
Okay.
oh! Tailspire just hates me so far. Oh, I got an 11. That gives me a 13 for myself.
Nice.
Okay, so so Graves, you're able to like kind of follow the lead of the woman that you are dancing with. Obviously, you know this to be
What's his face?
Radka's sister.
Yes.
And she
My
is
hands
leading
up,
you, and you
still
guys
long
are
way
able to.
carrying me.
Yeah, and as you're kind of going along, like you kind of interact with like other people in your switch between, and you kind of are gaining the rhythm of it. And you do kind of see that that while you've been studying under the tutelage of your previous master, was it Torn?
Yes, Torin.
Under Torn, he had focused mostly upon the aspect of death that was very important for the worship of your god. But because he was so surrounded by death, being a grave digger and the cleric of the graveyard, you've never really seen in your memory such a celebration of life, and you felt like this is connecting you more closer to Pharasma on the other end of the spectrum. So you found
I
that
definitely have a lot more of experience of just like the kind of like grim side.
and your heart kind of leaps in joy. Herbert, your books have served you well in this, and you are able to kind of take the knowledge of the books, and now with the experience, your mind almost takes over more than you could anticipate, and you not only are able to follow the lead, but you're also able to start leading on your own as you start dancing and move between them. You are successful, and then the music kind of stops, and the girl gives you a bow, her face slightly flushed from the dancing, and
We're both handsome gentlemen.
you see Radka in the corner kind of giving you a slow clap as he's going.
Not bad for my first time, I suppose.
Quite good. You can see what I mean, though, like experiencing in the book versus in life.
Yes, you
Totally
need the
different.
practical application.
Yes, if you say so. Now, you journeyed so far at night. What brings you to our humble camp?
Well, I suppose you could
Bit of
say
a lot.
I was following a song or something along those lines.
To be fair, it was very strange circumstances that we were brought together and brought here. Many people might call us strange or odd from this, but I feel like you, from what I've been told, you might be ones to understand. Does perchance the name Madam Eva ring any bell to you?
Oh. You are the ones that my father has mentioned, Stanimir.
Is he a man wearing many colors?
Yes, he is. He is resting right now, but he will be out soon, very soon, to, in order to tell the story. See,
What was the name?
Stanimir.
Stanimir. I think that's about the extent of our knowledge of why we're here.
Oh, well, he is getting up there in age, and so the hustle and bustle of the music is sometimes too much for him, but he still enjoys the entertainment of stories. Like, we rouse him and see if he is able to get up.
As he's gone, I'm just going to be looking at the rest of the party. Is it of no concern that they expected us?
From
Not
the
good.
sense I got to the visions, like, I kind of was suspecting that they would.
I should mention that the vision told me that if we followed his song, it would guide us to me,
Yes,
presuming this Madame Ava.
My vision as well said to speak the name Madame Eva in the camp of travelers, which seems to be here, and that there would be a man in many colors whose song would guide us. Now, where we're being guided, I don't really know. This Madame Eva in the vision seems to have promised me knowledge that I seek. How trustworthy she will prove to be, I don't know. Where this is taking us, I don't know. But it beats sitting in a graveyard.
And as uncomfortable as this whole situation might make me, I feel as though from the moment we all shared that shared vision, there hasn't been a lot of control going on. I feel like I've just been led by the hand this whole time.
Yes, I would agree. I, of course, did speak to my mentor before I came as well, and he said that he'd had visions as well, and that he agreed that this is the best course of action. But I still think we should remain cautious.
Okay, and you guys see Ratka leaving the tent here, followed by a man cloaked in many colors.
It is Joseph.
Yes, in his Technicolor dream coat.
Yeah.
And he exits out of here. He is much older than the other people. You would guess he's in his late 50s. He is his white hair is and beard is thin. His beard is kind of just a goatee, and it's going down to about his mid-chest. And as he steps out, you see that the people around him begin to kind of stop the music. Come, my friends. My son has roused me. He told me. We have been waiting for you. This is why we've been camped here so many nights, when we usually like to wander.
As I approach, I will kind of be semi-defensive, and why were you waiting for?
Oh, yeah, sit down. I'm sure you have many questions. I must confess I cannot provide all the answers, but I may be able to provide some.
Do I see any weapons on these people?
Roll me a perception check. You see that many of them have daggers, but you can't really see anything beyond that.
We appear more well equipped than them.
Yes, you guys do, but there are quite a few of them. There are about a dozen women and a dozen men.
Whereas there's 4 of us.
Yeah. But as for why we are waiting for you, the answer's quite simple. Our leader, Madame Eva, asked us to do so.
Your leader.
Yes,
What's
one of
she
you
like?
spoke her name.
Yes, she appeared. I would assume then she appeared to me in a vision, and she told me to do so.
Well, what I can say is Madame Eva knows Very much. I'm sure that if you have spoken to her physically or in a vision, as she often will, you have surmised as much. She told me some of you, for one, so you would believe that I truly was in contact with Madame Eva, but also so you know what she may be able to give you. You there. He looks towards Onyx. He's like, you have a clockwork heart. But that doesn't make it any less than one of ours, which is made of flesh. And it's so full of fear. Traveling to her, you may be able to find a way to conquer that fear and the source of it. And you, the silent one. She tells me that you have faced great peril, regardless of you having no control over it. You have had trauma. And you remain innocent to this day. You with the blonde hair.
I think there's two of us with blonde hair.
Yes, the one in the back with the armor of nobility. You want to protect those you love. But you need the strength to do so. Madame Eva told me that she may have answers for you to find that strength, and perhaps some recognition along the way. And for you, she was curious of you, as she said there were two trees grown too close together, wound together with different roots. But perhaps traveling to her, you will be able to unwind these roots and be able to heal yourself along the way. I've heard of you from Madame Eva, but please, tell me some of your stories.
Well, you'll forgive me if I'm not a little bit nervous to follow a performance such as that.
Well,
But
everyone
I'm
has a
not.
story.
I suppose I could tell you a bit. I don't really mind.
And also, to our silent friend, Madame Eva told me that while your tongue is still, you can still speak in ways. Do not be afraid to contact me.
Thank you.
No, you. The one would desire to save those he loved. What is the story?
Well, it's not very exciting, to be honest. You know, I was sort of born in a nameless place, just on the outskirts of society, and I was born with a gift, just a, sort of gifted mind, sort of out of place, and I put together a few bits and bobs, and I was able to arm my compatriots with a rudimentary weapon, which defended our village, or if you could even call it that. against some bandits that sought us a sort of easy target. From there, I sort of discovered how to build all sorts of things and sort of outgrew the place. And my father sort of sent me off and told me to go to Waterdeep, and I learned how to create things. It's one of the most populated cities in all of civilization. So I've learned to talk the talk a bit. Though I wouldn't say I'm particularly skillful at it.
Yes.
I've learned the
well,
steps.
Waterdeep is a wonderful city. I've been there many times. But you sell yourself short. What was your name?
Herbert.
Herbert,
Like,
you sell yourself short, Herbert.
oh,
Many of the greatest tales begin in an unnamed village, with one extraordinary person that rises above the rest and becomes a hero, and then travels the world. Yes, your story, you might feel like it's nothing special, but it rhymes with some of the greatest heroes of history.
well, I'm just trying to carefully apply force when needed.
Well, anyone else have a tale to spin?
Graves kind of looks to the other two, see if either of them are going to go first.
Onyx is not wanting to speak.
Konareth is just kind of staring deeply into the fire.
Oh, I can tell you, I personally don't have much of a story.
A man of mystery.
I,
Miva said that might be as much.
yes, my own past is as much a mystery to myself as it is to you. I only have memories of the last maybe 2 months. Other than,
Quite a short time.
yes. Other than he got like you could tell Graves looks like he's like more pale than normal at this point. Like, beyond that, I don't even know who I am. I merely recall some street. I don't know where it was, and a dagger in the dark from a figure whose face I could not see. But the dagger was in my own chest. That's all I can recall beyond the first 2 months, and even those details are hazy. But even when I don't know what they mean,
Well,
perhaps I don't quite understand the 2 trees that you speak of, but perhaps it has something to do with the fact that when I look in the mirror, it's not my own face that I see, but that of another.
interesting.
That's about
And-
all I could tell you.
Take the wisdom of an old man. It's okay to not know who you are, whether it be because of your memories or elsewhere. It took me many years to find myself. And the journey is quite worth it, I will tell you that.
If this
Once
Madam
you
Eva
get the
truly
gold.
can give me answers, even just a more happy memory than the haunting one that I have.
And I don't want to deceive you. Madam Eva will give answers, but you may leave from her tent with more questions than you had before.
We had that discussion earlier today.
I won't force your friends out of their comfort zone. Please gather around and I'll tell you a tale of my own. Stanimir kind of approaches the fire and he takes a drink of wine. He holds it in his mouth for a moment and then he spits it out over the fire. The fire flares up, and within it, you see that the flames turn from orange to green, and as they're dancing and swaying, a dark shape appears in the bonfire's core. We come from an ancient land whose name is long forgotten, a land of kings. Our enemies force us from our homes, and we wander the lost roads. We are often called the wanderers or travelers. A dark shape in the fire takes the form of a man being knocked from his horse, a spear piercing his side. And Stanimir continues. One night, a wounded soldier staggered into our camp and collapsed. We nursed him his terrible injury and quenched his thirst with wine. He survived despite the mortal wound. When we asked him who he was, he wouldn't say. All he wanted was to return home. But we were deep in the land of his enemies. We took him as one of our own and followed him back towards his homeland. And his enemies hunted him. They said he was a prince, yet we didn't give him up, even when their assassins fell upon us like wolves. Deep in the bonfire, you see the dark figure standing with a sword drawn, fighting off a host of shadowy shapes. This man of royal blood fought to protect us as we protected him. We bore him safely to his home, and he thanked us. He said, I owe you my life. Stay as long as you wish. Leave when you choose. And know that you will always be safe here. The figure in the dancing fire vanquishes its final foe, then disperses in a cloud of smoke and embers. Stanimir's face becomes a somber mask. Our leader, Madame Eva, knows all. She has seen how each of your destinies intertwined with this prince. You tell me that you don't know what she meant by the two trees. And you, Herbert, I can tell that you love your home, and you want to protect them. I think that Madame Eva can help. May we take you to her? May we take you to Barovia?
I need to go to Barovia.
We can take you there.
Barovia. Where is Barovia? The name. I have heard that name before, but I don't know where. But it sounds familiar yet.
It is a beautiful valley. It is probably about a day's travel from here. We can take you there. Now, I must be honest with you. Forgive me if it seems like I have deceived you. We are not in the best grace with Madame Eva. We have not been able to return to our homeland. And we are hoping that by doing this favor for her, we can earn back her good graces. I can take you to the edge of Barovia, but as of now, we are not welcome there. So we will have to part at that point.
But Barovia. Like, you just see Graves like mulling it over in his head, and he's like, I couldn't have if you said you must go, did you not?
I must. If I'm to find any absolution, that's where I need to be.
I must apologize, but I feel hesitant. As you can imagine, with now knowing what as much as I know, I greatly desire to meet this Madame Eva, to know who I am. For some reason, the name Barovia fills me with this sense of dread. I don't know why, but perhaps it is a trial we must overcome. I do not necessarily go happily.
I would do anything to protect my home. They say that they can protect it. I suppose I could hear them out. But to imply that they can protect something that might not necessarily be in imminent danger is a little unsettling to me. Because it sort of implies that there is an imminent danger that I do not know about.
Hmm.
So I'm curious.
I have my doubts, but that if the name fills me with dread, it almost feels as though this is a step backwards in my own journey, but I don't know where else to go, how else to proceed. And I really do want to know who I am. So I suppose I'll hesitantly come. And you can see, like, Graves looks like his skin is, like, pale right now, and he looks, like, distraught.
I'm
Forgive
sorry
me.
if I caused you pain.
No, it is not. I don't know what it is. But
Forgive me for being ignorant, but why cannot you enter Barovia?
I told you, we are not in the good graces of our leader. She is quite elderly. We honor her. She even makes me look young.
And yet, she still communicated with you that we were coming.
Yes, she knew we were close. We jumped upon the opportunity as we thought that perhaps we could gain her favor. Surely you have someone in your past that you want to try and please so that you cannot incur and take on their wrath or their displeasure.
No, I can very much say
I don't know how else to really explain it.
what puts you in her bad graces.
I was young and foolish. I had younger than even my son here is now. I had drank wine too much. And was careless with fire. Nearly burned down our camp.
Can I insight that?
Yeah.
I think Graves is a little too just freaked out and distressed to really
Never mind.
try rolling.
Seems like a straight up gentleman.
The most honest man you've met in your entire life. Definitely not a charlatan.
That seems like a very long time. Hold a grudge over what seems like a very careless mistake. Not in
Yes. Out of character. In this time period, playing with fire actually was an executable offense.
Oh.
So you know, it was actually in medieval times. Like, if you were playing with fire and were caught, you could be executed. Because fire could destroy an entire community
Yeah,
and
there's
nations.
yeah, fires are a big deal in like big cities. Like Waterdeep's kind of an exception because they have a lot of magic
Deep water.
users, and well, the deep water harbors close
Yeah.
by, yeah. But yeah, I mean they have like a huge institution of like magical users, so they don't have too much of a fear of fire. But I mean, you could easily destroy someone's house with fire easily.
But
Before
many
anyone-
villages, like in this, like it's more so villages that would have been an executable offense, because if it was nearing winter and a fire went off, you pretty much doom the entire death of your village. Or they would lose all their homes because they'd have to move because they couldn't make it through the winter. So they took it to the point where it's like if you were caught playing with fire, you could be executed.
Well, I am interested to get the answers. So I am wary of going to this Barovia. If that is where we must go. I've traveled so far already, what's a little further?
Oh,
Hope this won't take too long.
it's about a day's travel, like I said. We should be arriving there tomorrow around maybe an hour before sunset. But let's rest. Is there any questions you have? Oh, and I'm sure you can make camp nearby in. If you'd like. I will be going to bed. Been resting for an hour before you arrived, but I need a good long sleep, especially if we are traveling all the way to Barovia.
I feel like I probably would have heard of Barovia. Like Herbert is kind of thinking like this is such a. I guess he said it was a beautiful valley, so that doesn't really say much. So he's wondering if he's heard of Barovia,
Roll
but
me a history
probably has
check.
not. Okay. History, that's a 20 total.
Okay. You've not heard of Barovia.
I was gonna say, I didn't
well.
think I would have, because I was so far away anyways, so.
You got a 20, you said?
Yep.
Yeah, you have not heard of Barovia.
Dang.
I have not heard of
Wow.
it, but for other reasons,
I
it's
haven't
saying
heard of
it
this.
sounds vaguely familiar to Graves.
I mean, dread. I don't like that feeling. That's never good, usually. But I suppose it doesn't hurt to check it out. I'm sure we can leave any time.
Last
Herbert's gonna be the first to die.
Konareth has already started making his way out of the camp to set up a bedroll.
Yes.
Okay.
We can set up a nearby, I suppose.
Are you guys setting watches? Are you?
Well, the best part about me is I can just
That's
kind of
right.
take a spot that oversees, and I just become motionless, but I
keep
am
watch.
still awake and hearing and seeing like normal.
Mm-hmm.
I also only need 4 hours, and I just need to spend those in an inactive, motionless state, which I do retain consciousness.
So you guys back to back
Yep.
get 360 degrees.
And even then, like, if something happens, we're both, like, conscious and can, like, stop our rest without any issue.
Dang. That's pretty useful.
Wow, yeah.
Great.
I mean, would you guys know to coordinate like this though? Because like, are you fully aware of each other?
As far as you can tell, I look like a human.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd
If
probably
you lie to me, I won't go to sleep.
assuming we went to set up a small camp and we're like, all right, if anyone was going to be like, yeah, so who's going to keep watch? Probably both of them would speak up and be like, yeah, I don't actually sleep.
Yeah, I'd be like, I haven't slept since I awoke.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean,
go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
Well, I can't even remember what I was gonna say, to be honest. So,
I was just gonna say, like, we can RP that if we want, or we can just assume that we figured that out. We could do either way.
Graves would probably just set up his lantern, have it lit. 'Cause it's just like a small candle lantern, just have the flame kind of dim to be our kind of campfire, like light, and kind of just sit down like against a rock or a stump or something, and just kind of like stare into the candlelight.
But yep.
all right.
Okay.
Just
So,
curl up and sleep.
with your guys' keeping watch, the night passes by, and it is uneventful as the night passes. The rest of the Vistani, they are able to fairly easily collect together. They are kind of making camp. They're cooking some for breakfast. And Ratka sees you. And he's like, good morning, my friends. Would you like some food for this fine day?
You might want to change the. Okay, yeah, you're going on it right now. It's like doesn't seem like the right setting.
Graves like,
Want some scrambled eggs?
Graves like, I personally don't think I really need any sustenance, but if you give me food, I'll eat it for the taste, but I'm fine without.
Yes, that makes sense.
If anyone like woke up during the night, they probably just see like this metal man and then just like this handsome blonde guy, both just sitting there motionless, like staring into the darkness.
Might be a handsome metal man.
It's true. Are you a handsome metal man?
Mic off. Mic on.
I would say yes.
Very nice. We are all handsome gentlemen then.
I will be right back though.
Konareth has just
Mic
pulled
off.
out like a basic ration from his bag and is eating that, kind of sitting off to the side.
I think Herbert is doing the same.
Alright. You guys see Stanimir kind of get up, and he's going to move to one of the wagons. But come, my friends, we are packing up. It is. The morning is still great, but we can make quite a bit of distance today. You can either sit in the back of the wagon, or one of you can join me up here, whichever.
Conareth moves to the back of the wagon.
I'll sit in the back.
I will also sit in the back.
Mic
I don't
on.
think I really wish to look forward.
Mic
on
off.
this journey.
Okay. And I'm going to assume that Onyx also will sit in the back. Stanimir brings his his son jumps on and with a crack of a whip and a shout, the caravan starts moving forward. As you're traveling along, is there anything that you guys would like to talk about? You'll have plenty of time to talk and rest as you're traveling. The road is moving past at a steady pace throughout the day, but it's quite comfortable as you are traveling along.
Conareth isn't really much of an initiator of conversations, so.
Graves is a little more charismatic and optimistic, as has been the case so far, but he seems a lot more distressed today than he did yesterday. He just kind of seems like nervous and agitated. He'll talk if spoken to, but he's kind of just more looking worried.
And you guys would probably notice this among like the rest of the party. Most of you guys are kind of in a somber mood because last night was a bit rough. Now, all of you did have a full rest, and for the first time in a while, you didn't have any visions or dreams, respectively.
I think Herbert is going to try to talk to Conareth. I think maybe he tries to just sort of walk up, or not walk up, but like sort of just looks at him and starts thinking at him, but then sort of realize that probably doesn't work. And he'll say, friend, Conareth, I'm sure you don't wish to talk about it, but I just want to let you know that if you wish to share anything about your somewhat traumatic past, I will not judge you for anything that would might have happened or anything like that. So.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't know, it's not something I have much occasion to talk about.
Well, I am interested to hear, so if you feel like sharing, you can. But that's all. I just wanted to let you know that.
I suppose now is as good a time as any. When I was young, I was mostly taken care of by my mother. My father being a Curie, kind of difficult to contact, being a spiritual being and the like. Haven't really met him yet. But around when I was 8 years old, you see Gillian's Hill is known for its occasional drow attacks. It's surprising that people choose to live there in the first place. And there was an attack that happened that claimed the life of my mother. I've been living in the temple ever since.
That's unfortunate, really. You know, dangers abound, I suppose. But it seems you can take care of yourself. Now, at least. You handled yourself quite well against those undead.
I appreciate you saying that. That's actually, well, I don't know
Mic
if
on.
it counts or not, considering it was just a vision, but I haven't actually had much occasion to battle. You see, I haven't been outside of Gillian's Hill until yesterday. I've barely been outside of the temple itself. I've mostly spent my time training there, considering for the possibility of trying to take back what was taken from me. If that's possible, I'm not entirely sure what my intention is. I made a foolish decision at a young age to commit to a vow of silence until I avenged the death of my mother. Made life quite awkward. Not many people like being spoke to in their heads.
That's the DM again.
On that. I guess he's probably unresponsive again.
Computer must have died again.
Rip the dungeon master.
Yeah.
Sorry, I might have missed. Did you had said who was responsible for your mother's death?
I think you said the drow attack.
The drow.
Drow attacks, yeah.
It was Zakad.
Very well could have been, I guess. Or this is a Forgotten Realms.
This is Forgotten Realms, not Reno's world.
Yeah.
But this is not standard Forgotten Realms either, because I have a Pathfinder god.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's loosey goosey. It's whatever.
It's loosey goosey. Yeah, it was totally Zakat. He just campaign hopped into this to kill your mother.
Yeah,
Was she an elf? That's one of the 42 elf ears he carries.
For the first
Imagine
time,
it's a-
you see Onyx kind of look very sympathetic to you. And do you have any lead?
None really. I was so young and everything happened so fast. There was so much terror and destruction all happening so suddenly. We didn't even... Nobody saw them coming. Nobody knew what was going to happen.
Hello. Apologies.
Hello.
I think I know.
Welcome back.
It's all good. We're just doing backstory RP with
Yeah. So I'm just not touching my webcam anymore. Because that's what happened. I'm like, oh, my webcam's not on. I went to turn on.
it died like a while ago, and then
Issue with the way the driver installed, so I'll fix it some point in between.
yeah.
Because it was
So even when you had your
working fine in the
webcam on earlier, it was just loading the entire time.
beginning. Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Weird.
But next thing I knew, I was separated from my mother, and there was so much chaos at the time that it ended. There was nothing but remains, not all of them whole, not all of them recognizable. I've been cloistered ever since.
I do not mean to sound, but you saw the remains of your mother?
No. I'm not. Difficult to tell. Like I said, there's a lot of destruction. A lot of things were lost, some bodies burnt, dismembered, or disfigured. I don't know.
Well, I am sorry that there are definitely evil forces in this world that like to see just pain and suffering.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around, but hopefully we can make a difference.
I'm hoping. Future is what we make it.
Herbert will sort of chime in and say, he's quite right, to be honest. The future is what you make it. You've been building this whole time, and it's time to show the world what you've created.
I'm not entirely sure what that is yet, but I guess we'll find out when we reach Barovia.
I can tell you are not a scared little child anymore.
Little child, I'll accept that. The scared part is up for debate. But
Okay, to be scared.
my desire to see this to the end, whatever this is, whatever retribution, vengeance, justice, I'm not entirely sure what my intention is yet, but I must see this to the end.
I think this is the start of something pretty incredible. So, I'm anxious to see how this plays out.
The start to something. Incredible is...
I'm just plain anxious. On a lighter note, Herbert, you've looked to have been interested in trying to speak telepathically. I didn't let on before, but I do have the ability to allow people to speak back to me telepathically as well. So, if you ever want to have a conversation without using your mouth, or just a secret conversation, I guess it really only works with me. But feel free to ask.
It could certainly be very useful. Thank you for letting me know. I suppose this would go for anyone else here. Is that correct?
Yes, naturally. Yeah. I can extend that ability to anyone. However, the only disadvantage is that they can only speak specifically back to me, so I couldn't apply it to the three of you and have you be able to speak to each other. It would only be directed to me.
I see. Definitely not something you want to rely on too heavily, but definitely could be very useful in certain scenarios. Interesting. I'm gonna write this down and just work out some graphs and most effective communication routes and things like that.
I suppose worst case scenario, if we were all trying to keep a conversation out of the ears of others, I could relay information, as roundabout as that may be, from one to another. Although my range of telepathy is quite limited right now. I can only reach up to around 10 feet, so I'll be quite useless at at a distance. In terms
that's
of
all right.
information.
I have a feeling that the times that it would be most useful would be times when range is not that much of an issue.
Agreed.
I'm going to assume that quite a bit of time has passed during these conversations. You do see that the road outside the day outside has been passing. You had stopped at they had stopped at one point for everyone to go to the bathroom and get water and everything. But other than that one stop, it was mostly continuing throughout the day.
Yeah, pretty much through the entire day, Graves is just kind of holding his lantern and staring at it. Not really doing anything besides that.
As you are traveling, you see out of the side holes of the wagon, there's black pools of water standing like dark mirrors in and around the muddy roadway. The entire wagon itself is swaying from side to side as it hits different potholes and dips in the road. Giant trees loom on both sides of the road, and their branches clawing at the mist. A small door at the front end of the wagon opens, and you hear Stanmir's voice. We are almost to the gates, I believe. Apologize for the road, it's quite old.
That's
All right. Sorry.
It's fine.
I'm used to it.
I'm not a fragile bot. I have withstood harsher conditions than this.
Ah, here we go. I think we should stop here. You guys feel the um you guys feel the wagons come to a standstill.
We must be here, gentlemen.
And he stops. You hear the people gain off the wagons. Do you guys get out, or?
Yep.
Take a look around. See where we are.
Okay.
Graves does get it, but he very much hesitates.
As you guys get out upon the misty road,
The whole caravan just disappears. They are all a figment of our imagination.
the fog spills out of the forest, swallowing up the road behind you. Jutting from the impenetrable woods on both sides of the road are high stone buttresses, looming gray in the fog. Huge iron gates hang on the stonework. Dew clings with cold tenacity to the rusted bars. Two headless statues of armed guardians flank the gate, their heads now lying among the weeds of their feet. They greet you only with silence. Surrounding you, you see towering trees whose tops are lost in the heavy mist, blocking out all but death gray light The tree trunks are unnaturally close to one another, and the woods have the silence of a forgotten grave, yet exude the feeling of an unvoiced scream. Stanimir is next to you. He's like, the gates are ahead. As I said, we can bring you this far, but we cannot enter into Barovia at this time. I recommend that you travel along the road, and you will come to a town that's also called Barovia. Gets confusing sometimes. It's a valley called Barovia with a town called Barovia, and then
Well, that's not very creative.
but regardless, the Madame Eva is well known within there. You should be able to easily get directions to make it to her.
Well, must be a friendly place if people are just going to help us out, I suppose.
Doesn't
I
appear
see.
very friendly.
I would have to say you're right. But, you know, I'm sure we could figure something out. Even if people aren't.
Graves instinctively just turns his lantern on, kind of just holding it up nervously.
The gate should be open. It typically is. These walls, though impressive, have not been used for many years. But it is getting late, and we'd like to get out of the woods before we camp for the night. So I will leave you, but travel carefully and stay on the road, so it would be easier. It's about a day's journey. You, or probably less than a day's journey. You should pass a farmhouse about an hour before you reach the town of Barovia.
Well, thank you.
Travel safe. And I hope that you find the answers you seek from Madame Eva. And he, and along with the rest of the Vistani, get on the wagons and they turn them around and they start riding away.
Well, anyone want to back out now, or we're just gonna?
It's a little late for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Hoppity hoppity hop.
I was just pressing W repeatedly.
I mean, we could just.
So you guys arrive to the gates. You see mist is heavily obscured around you.
Great job on the giant statues, by the way.
I did not make them.
Ah.
But yes, I enjoyed how they looked, and so you guys, as you were walking up, these gates loom above you. The sentinels are standing around you. And you see the road continues beyond the gate.
All right. We'll just. Do we see any signs of life or anything like that when we pass
Not
through the
currently.
gate?
Once you are walking through the gate.
Any no torchlight or campfires in the distance or anything like?
You do not actually. The majority
from
of
the
it is
city?
obscured by mist. As the last of you goes through, the gates close behind you, leaving a deadening playing, echoing throughout the mist. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
That's not good.
I'm sure we'll be able to leave anytime.
Yep. Leave anytime. I would like to leave now.
Well, thank you guys for a first session. It went a bit longer tonight in order to establish the setting and everything,
was
and allow
awesome.
for RP.
I loved it.
I'm glad to hear
Yes.
that. And using the Tailspire, I like being able to show you guys the scale of like the buildings that you're passing,
I know.
and things like that. Being able to show you like these gates and everything, and how,
Yeah.
kind of a, not necessarily like impressive, but I mean like the what's the word I'm looking for? Oppressive, I guess, like the
Yeah.
Imposing.
yeah,
That-
imposing, the imposing
imposing, yeah.
nature of them.
For real, yeah. That's insane. I love this.
Yep.
So, but with that being said, I will definitely be using Tailspire, everyone, because I found that it just kind of allows for it to be immersive much more, as you're going throughout, and I find it's not hard for me to keep track of it. It's actually easier than Owlbear, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Any thing else before we look at ending for the night?
That is good.
I'll probably end up purchasing. I did make a Hero Forge model.
Okay, cool.
Ooh.
And
I'd like to I don't know at the moment, but I do have it made.
I saw the handout or the screenshot that you posted.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
so should be very
Everyone
excited. I'm
sounds
hoping that Tailspire fully implements the Hero Forge thing within the next month. And then we'll be able to, because that will not only allow you guys to be able to have your custom tokens, but will allow me to be able to pull stuff from online and STLs and stuff to have custom mobs and monsters.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I'm excited. You guys have entered Barovia, and we will continue 2 weeks from today on your journey into the mist.